What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to go through your Hunter Phase 5 BIS list for TBC, so the BIS gear for the end of the entire expansion, the Burning Crusade. One thing to note is that of course there's always going to be 2 BIS lists for Hunters, well actually 3 really. Your 6200 armor bosses, your 7700 armor bosses, and your 9% hit sets. Also, I will go over kind of a realistic BIS, which is also something that's really nice off of Wowhead that Veremos put together, as he's always been probably the best resource for all hunters for simming things, as well as Six Furies sim for checking out how your BIS lists are. So I am going to shout out Veremos for putting this together again, and also for testing every single version of the sims. One last thing I would mention is that I personally would always kind of aim for the 7700 armor boss sets instead of the 6200 armor ones, because when you're using that set, the DPS difference between it and your actual BIS for the 6200 armor boss is actually nothing. It's almost like 2 DPS instead of being like 7 DPS when you're moving the other way around. Hunters are getting a massive DPS increase this phase. Honestly, it is the biggest jump, almost twice as big as the jump from last phase to this one. So this is a huge DPS increase. And a lot of that's actually going to be coming from our legendary weapon, Thoridol. If you can get this, you are completely juiced up, and I'll show you the exact number differentials from this and the next BIS in a second. Anyways, let's dive through the sets themselves. There are BIS lists as well as realistic BIS lists, but let's just look at our BIS list individually. Right into things, the 7700 armor boss BIS list is actually going to be very similar to the 6200 boss BIS list. One thing you want to note is you're changing everything from Black Temple phase other than your shoulders, Stalker shoulders, and DST. Everything else changes, everything else upgrades. We're going to start at the helm with the Coif of Alaria. This is a highly contested item. Your hardened corium choker is what most people are going to run. That means you do need to swap to jewel crafting so that you can make this for yourself. Then for the cloak slot, we have the Cloak of Unforgivable Sin. Both of these items, the Coif and the cloak, are from Kill Jaden, so they will be a little harder to get if your guild isn't getting there soon. Off of Muru, the second to last boss and probably the hardest boss, we have the Bladed Chaos Tunic, 210 armor pen and 3 sockets. This is a great piece with 120 attack power as well. Then we're going to see our Stalker pieces. We do want to keep the 4-piece, by the way, guys. You always pretty much want to keep your 4-piece from your tier 6 bonus. So we now have the Stalker bracers. Then we have the Thalassian Ranger Gauntlets, which is going to be your BIS for the 7700 armor set. But this is kind of something that's a little bit of a more contested item. So you can go with the Gloves of Immortal Dusk. It is more realistic for you to get, and it is a very close second piece. Then we can also have the Stalker belt, the next offset piece, as well as we're going to get the boots soon. You do have high competition with other classes, but eventually you should be getting your new offset pieces. It's really the other items that are way more contested, things like the Leggings of Immortal Knight. These are huge, and a BM Hunter is potentially the only class in the game that fully utilizes the hit from this piece, but this is BIS for almost every physical DPS class, if not for every single physical DPS class. So this is going to be really contested, guys. Then for your rings, we have the Band of Reunious Delight off Muru, and Evangelista's Revenge, which is the badge ring. So the new badge ring is a slight upgrade over the Primal Wrath ring from ZA, but it is better. And then if you're using the 6200 armor set, you are actually using the Hardened Corium Band. These are also really close. Hardened Corium Band and Evangelista's Revenge are really close, so I wouldn't worry too much about them. And if you're looking at your 9% hit set, you'd actually have the Stormrage Signet Ring in this slot. Your BIS weapon is going to be the Hand of the Deceiver, and this is a highly contested item. Almost everyone is going after this if they're physical DPS, so good luck to get this. Also, your other weapon is the Shiv of Extinguination, I think is what it's actually pronounced. This is your other BIS weapon. This is going to be your offhand. Although if you're using your 9% hit set, like I mentioned, you are going to hop onto the Grip of Manaroth. And if you're actually survival, you can use 2 Shivs of Extinguination if you need to, and this is really good. But if you're survival, I would suggest going for the 2-handed weapon. Also, this is a little tidbit I would say. If you're not melee weaving, you probably should be. and I would always just aim for the two-handed weapon. It's probably gonna be a lot easier to get. And what we're gonna be using, guys, is the Shivering Fel Spine. It's really close to Apollyon in DPS. So if you actually could just take the Apollyon, it's super close. Although Shivering Fel Spine does have the more haste rating, as well as 52 agility, where Apollyon has stamina. And Shivering Fel Spine, another thing that's really nice from it is you will get more DPS out of it if you were just fighting purely ranged slightly as a upgrade over Apollyon if you are not melee weaving. Although if you are melee weaving, they are almost the same, although Shivering Fel Spine still does win. So this should actually be a pretty easy item to get. So I wouldn't worry too much about trying to get Hand of the Deceiver. Now, the last things to mention, the very big items are going to be your trinkets. Blackened Naru Sliver is now your new Bis trinket. Basically 440 attack power all the time, 54 haste. Whenever this is procced, you're just going to be juiced up. You are going to have to fight every other physical DPS for it. And it is technically the biggest upgrade for rogues, which I can actually move on to show you what these sims are against other things. Then also Thoridol, the Star's Fury. This is absolutely your Bis, and it is leagues away from anything else. This is absolutely the most insane item and most insane weapon ever for hunters. So if you can get this, massive congrats. It's like getting both glaives, basically. So if we look at physical DPS comparisons between any of the items, and this sheet was actually put together by Lozel Scotch. I found it actually in the Hunter Discord, so huge shout out to Lozel Scotch. I think it was Veramos that had pinned it. You can see that your helm piece is actually a massive upgrade for hunters, although the other alternatives for Fury Warriors is actually pretty close. So that might be a way for you to make a little bit of an argument for this helm over the Fury Warriors, especially, or your Arms Warrior, because their next best item is very, very close. Let's move all the way down to the legs. Leggings of the Immortal Knight are a pretty huge upgrade for almost anyone. The only argument you would really have for trying to get this over your Fury Warriors is that BM hunters fully utilize the hit. So we actually need the hit. Although if you look at DPS comparisons, it is not as bad of a DPS loss if you get Stalker as a Fury Warrior getting this. So you might lose out on this. Although Fury Warriors can get Fel Fury leg plates, it will be Bis for their haste set. And then if we look at Thoridol, it is obviously Bis for Fury Warriors, but it's almost the exact same as the Golden Bow of Quel'Danas. I don't know if I pronounced that right. 321 DPS increase from current phase Bis, which is Bristle Blitz. And then also it is a huge increase from the Golden Bow. Although you should, as all hunters, take the Golden Bow first, because you most likely won't see Thoridol for a while, if ever. Good luck to us all, but in all honesty, you probably might be stuck with Golden Bow for a really long time, which we already know I will be. That's pretty much it, guys. I will have links to all of this in the description, but if you're looking at your 6200 armor set instead of 7700, you're actually going to go with the Clutch of Demise. Do note that, guys, and also Gloves of Immortal Dusk, as well as if you're survival, you are rocking the Clutch of Demise, and of course, Shivering Fel Spine. Although I would personally, again, be using the two-handers all the way through this phase as much as you can. Melee weaving is just insane damage. It's so easy to do, and maybe I'll make a guide on it, but I know a lot of people are now using the mouse macro, so it's not really something I'm too worried about. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Good luck on Thoridol. This thing is just the juiciest weapon ever. I'm hoping that everyone gets it as soon as they can, and this is gonna be just so exciting. I'll see you guys all on the next one.